Today is Tuesday, May 5th, 8:21 p.m. I want to break down a detail on this foundation plan that I'm working on, a project located in Southeast Portland. So this detail is exterior wall, foundation, and beam detail, and I want to kind of go through it and break it down, going from exterior to interior, and then breaking down the foundation wall and the stem wall, as well as the beam and the beam placement, as well as the floor. So kind of starting out with the exterior, we have our 3/4 inch wood shake siding, stained or sealed per plan, providing 1 inch minimum clearance between siding and concrete. So this is the siding, and then we have to provide 1 inch minimum clearance. So moving down, we have our 1x vertical furring strips at 1/6 inch on center, then 3/4 inch vented rain screen cavity with insect screen at base. So this kind of rain screen and insect screen at base. Then we have our TVAC or weather resistive barrier, and then air barrier continuous. Next we have our WRB lapped over flashing, and then our 1/2 inch OSB or plywood sheathing nailed per structure. Then we have our galvanized metal Z flash with drip edge, which is this element right here. And then kind of a quick note, do not allow siding to contact concrete. And then moving down to the kind of the wall and the stem wall. Exterior face of stud aligned with exterior face of foundation, so this right here. Then we have our seal gasket with capillary break continuous. Then we have 2 pressure treated 2x6 seal plates. So this is supported to have on the plan to get your permit approved. And then we have our 1/2 inch anchor bolts at 40 inch on center, maxed with 3 inch by 3 inch by 1/4 inch plate washers, typical. So this bolt right here, which will hold down the wall and the sill plate. And then we have our number 4 horizontal rebar, continuous as typical. Then we have our number 4 vertical rebar, 40 inch on center max, alternate bends, typical. And we have our number 4 horizontal rebar, continuous, typical. So we have 3 of them. Kind of highlight the dimensions of the footing, 8 inch footing, and then 8 inch stem wall in width, and then we have our 20 inch continuous footing. So 20 inch by 8 inch concrete footing. So C structural. So these plans are currently in structural approval and kind of phase. So then we have providing continuous footing reinforcement as well as C structural, kind of labeling 8 inch concrete stem wall, continuous. And then we have our beam annotation. So 4x8 Douglas fir pressure treated wood beam, C structural, provide 4 inch minimum end bearing, typical, and then provide 1/2 inch clearance on each side, typical, and then provide self-adhered flashing membrane like Henry Blueskin SA or approved equal at wood to concrete interface. And then for the beam, we have our 2 4x8 Douglas fir wood beams bearing on 6x6 posts, typical, and then 2x6 TNG decking over beams per plan. Our 3/4 inch hardwood flooring finish per plan. And then for the wall, we have our R21 bed insulation, 2x6 wood studs at 16 inch on center, 1/2 inch gypsum board, and then our finish of paint or slash millwork per plan. And that is kind of the overview of the exterior wall, a foundation, and stem wall and beam.